Hello everyone, this is Shotgun Revolved, and I am actually going to show off something for once. This is probably one of the few times I will actually do live commentary over stuff, because usually, uh, whenever I record videos, it's usually up to me if I actually record my voice or not, but, anyways, this is a project that I've been working on for about a year now, kind of on and off. Huge procrastinator, but I've been getting a lot of things done within the past month. I've been setting up this whole game thing. Uh, all of these items are custom and have a lot of things that kind of rely on it. And I also have these inventory stuff things. Like, you click on it and it will not do anything really, but it will force update the thing. And usually you would only see this on plugin servers, but I actually custom made this with Minecraft data packs. Mostly just a data pack. Everything runs within one data pack, and I've been working on that for a long time. But anyways, as you can see here, level 1, 0 XP, 400 to level up, 150 gold, 200 health, 100 mana, and also skills. You can level up skills in this. However, they're not. I'd say you don't need to level up every skill to beat this or whatever. This is still in kind of like a alpha stage. But anyways, we're gonna check out one of these items. So ignore some of the server stuff in the background, don't worry. But if you shift click, well, if you sneak and then you right click on the sign or whatever controls that you use, you will actually preview the item. So we have this weathered sword, and then we also have this dilapidated axe. I need to kind of fix this stuff, but don't worry about it. It's mostly just visual stuff that I need to fix, and that I remind myself later on that I have to do fix. But we're actually gonna buy an axe. I've tried to re-record this many times in the past in different versions of the game, but I'd say right now is the perfect time to try and actually, make a proper recording of this. So everything's here is kind of built by me. It doesn't look amazing, and it really isn't supposed to look amazing at the moment, but all the enemies here are also kind of custom made. They have their own health values, their own damage values, how much money they give, how much defense they have, how much XP they give. And we can see here that I now have 7 XP. You would expect that. I probably shouldn't explain literally everything, but on almost anything that I've done in this is an achievement, and we're gonna actually fight some more monsters. I plan on changing these mob spawners to a different system because honestly, using mob spawners doesn't look that great. I mean, you could see where the enemies spawn, but there should be a different visual indicator other than a basic mob spawner. Like, what is this, beta 1.8? We are way more advanced nowadays to just be using mob spawners. And this is also going to be a slight commentary thing as well because, I want to talk about a couple of things. Firstly, this is kind of disorienting because normally I play at 21 by 9 and some people will call me a pleb or whatever for using that. But honestly, ultra widescreen monitor is very good. So we're gonna be gaining a little bit of gold here and getting some XP. Oh god. Uh and I'm just getting hit from, wow. Okay. I did not know they can kind of just reach through blocks, but whatever. We'll just go back over there. Or actually, we can go a different path. This is all still being roughly built upon. I'm the only builder on the project. I'm the only uh, data pack creator on the project. I really am the only one who works on this project. We have a couple of... I usually invite a couple of people or whatever to test out a couple of new things. Sometimes they're annoyed, which I'm I don't know. I don't know how to intrigue people into this, but if you're interested in possibly testing this stuff out, I don't know, give me a shout or whatever. Comment down below. But this has all been custom created. Some of the code was actually not even code. Some of the scripting was created by Cloud Wolf. Shout out to him. He's definitely a person that I sometimes collaborate with, sometimes theorize better ways to do things, at least in the past, but I don't know. Nowadays he's working on cooler and better stuff, but we still talk from time to time. But anyways, the RNG and some of the other things were created and theorized by him, so shout out to him. Because some of this does use RNG, such as the mob spawning. The mob spawning is kind of random. It rolls a number, and then, depending on what number that is, it'll spawn whatever monster. And we leveled up our axes. This is pretty good. I'm trying to focus mainly on polished game mechanics, or at least having things run as nicely as possible, and also trying to make them, you know, not be as broken as some games nowadays. But anyways, this is the healing system as well. If you're holding a healing item and you just shift/sneak, you will actually heal yourself. You can heal others, but, you know, since I don't have another person with me, I can't really show off some of the other stuff like PvP and co-op. But for now, it's just gonna be me. We're gonna actually go and heal, and we're gonna probably buy a better weapon if we have the money. I don't think that's enough, actually. Well, we'll buy some healing items, at least. 3 of them. Oh yeah, these are not stackable. Certain items cannot be stacked in this game as well. But moving on, we're gonna continue going through almost all of this. Like, the map is really tiny at the moment, but it looks decently made, as I would say so myself, but, you know, most of you people are probably the critics of that. Why are you still here? Please. Oh, and then 3 of them spawn. Jesus. This is a pretty good showcasing so far. Sorry for my terrible English, by the way. I also disabled fall damage because I do not want to work on a fall damage algorithm, and I think fall damage would probably limit the exploration of all this stuff. The chests are empty for now, because making loot tables, as most people who have ever tried to make a Minecraft loot table would know, is not fun at all. I just really don't want to deal with that stuff nowadays. I might actually make custom ones instead, that just kind of rely on a chest system instead of having me make this item or whatever. Okay, we're good. But so far, the game kind of has a decent list of features. They kind of need to be ironed out, because honestly, I kind of find it boring in my own game so far that you can really only, kill monsters. And also shout out to the custom level up sound. Some of you might be able to figure out where that's from. But anyways, oh yeah, another thing about leveling up, and I am just constantly interrupting myself, but let's keep going with whatever I was interrupting myself with. Leveling up increases the amount of health and mana that you get, so you'll slowly get more and more powerful, and I wanted to go for something different whenever it came to leveling up. You don't necessarily need to beat the game at a high level. I think leveling should be reserved for if you have a lot of dedication, it'll make the game easier for you. But if you want to just kind of finish the game as fast as possible, then you can go right on ahead. You don't necessarily need to beat the game with, like, say, like at a level 70 character. You can beat it at any level. Because I know for certain people, and I myself, kind of considering somewhat Dark Souls-y stuff, I kind of find it fascinating whenever people beat the game at a low level. So, certain games usually don't allow you to beat them because it just there's some level requirements. I'm trying to make it where it's a almost level requirementless system. Like, weapons will of course have skill requirements, but there's actually a way to exploit it. Technically. It's not really an exploit, and it's just more of a quirk of how the game kind of works. Whenever you hit an enemy, the damage that you deal is already sent to a temporary skill XP value, and if you keep hitting enemies, it'll just continue gaining, and it will only add the skill XP if you know, kill an enemy, so it'll just... So, like, if you hit a lot of enemies and get them to low health but not kill them, and then finally kill one enemy, all that damage that you were dealing will be converted into skill XP, regardless if you've killed the other enemies or not. So it's a interesting way to level up a certain skill without having to kill a lot of enemies. Of course, if you're a normal RPG player, you would just straight up kill the enemies, but there are different ways of doing things if you just want to do a challenge on yourself, such as completing the game with the least amount of kills, or completing the game with the least amount of levels gained. Slash lowest level. I should probably fix my English before I actually speak these sentences, but you know what? Who cares? How much money do we have? We have 215. And our weapon is kind of damaged. We should probably repair it first. That's another thing I need to fix, but either way. So far so good. We're just gonna sell some of our healing items because we don't necessarily need them, and let's actually get a... Did we save up, actually? Let's just go and kill a couple of more monsters, and I might as well just press this button. It just respawns ores, and that's all it does. And the ores aren't really ores, it's just these decorative stone things that you can mine if you have a pickaxe. But so far, this has been worked on for, I don't know, a lot in the past month. I've been trying to work on it because, honestly, I needed to stop procrastinating so much. And now we're level 3 in axes. That's pretty good. I don't know. I really like working on this thing, though. Honestly, it's a lot of fun creating some, like, enjoyable experience for other people. I don't really necessarily look for the money, honestly. It's way more fun getting your name out there and creating something that everyone will know you for. And honestly, that's what I strive for. Because making good games is what a lot of people ask for these days, and I want to fulfill that request in some sort of way. So I'm trying to make this new gigantic experience. And right now, if you wanted to, you could use the data pack that runs all of this, the health, the mana, all the weapons, and just create your own little game from that. But I honestly want to make a gigantic RPG thing, but not the likes of Windcraft, but more like a kind of different kind of RPG in a way. Because this uses a lot of concepts from a lot of different games that I kind of, at least semi-like. Like, the healing system is kind of more like Tarkov's healing system. The leveling is kind of basic. There's a lot of things kind of at stake here. I don't know what other things I can relate some of the stuff to. I can say that the skill leveling is technically an MCMMO thing, but also a Skyblock thing. If y'all play Hypixel Skyblock. I used to play it a lot, but we're kind of straying away from the conversation a little bit. I also took the whole inventory HUD thing from multiple plugin servers, but adapted it to datapack/command block format or whatever. Damage indicators are kind of inspired by that one damage indicator mod back in the day. I wouldn't say that the resource pack that I'm using right now was going to be necessarily used for the server, because honestly, if there's one thing that I do want to do is that I want to have this game be as playable in vanilla as it can be. Like, of course, there will probably be a resource pack that modifies all the textures and all that, where you have unique weapon models, but if you wanted to play the game in vanilla, you just, like, buy Minecraft one day and you hear about the server and you just want to try it day one, then you could play the server, as long as you kind of know the basics and the rules of it, then yeah, you could just buy Minecraft and the next hour you could play this. And I honestly don't know why most servers don't do that nowadays. Because honestly, I find if you make a game good within the basics of the game, then you can make it better later by adding your own flavor to it. And all these custom textures and models and different kinds of things, like new particle or effects or whatever. How much money do we have? We have 267. Let's go and buy a pickaxe. So, skill system also works for pickaxes. Oh, that's something I have to fix. I shift clicked and it just bought the item. Don't worry, we could fix it in post. But yeah, this can mine granite, diorite, and andesite. As you can see right here. And we can just go and mine up some of the ores. Can't mine any of this, but you can mine this. And the granite you get is also custom, where it has its own description, its own sell value, and it has its own colored name. I tried to go for another thing is that I also hate when plugins or Minecraft games just kind of use colors arbitrarily and really don't care what the color is used for. I tried to go for some sort of symbolism between colors, like whenever you look at different items, I want it to be very obvious what color means what. So like green and dark green usually relate to durability and repair cost or something like that. And maybe even a skill that's still being worked on, the foraging skill. Red is typically health, damage. Blue is usually mana, attacking speed, or extracting. And then, like, light blue is usually leveling, seeing the requirement thing, or even swords if you decide to look at that color that way. And yellow is supposed to just be mostly about money, gold, mining, axes. I just find it a little bit easier and a little bit more eye-popping if you can relate to a certain concept as a color. Like, you can see a color, and you can already know what that color correlates to. Kind of like the philosophy of the PlayStation buttons, how in most games, those buttons, like, usually have a meaning to them. I don't know if you guys know this. And again, this is kind of off topic, but I feel like I can entertain the idea anyways. But the X, square, circle, and triangle usually relate to something. Can't remember what video it was, but you could probably find it. they all have a meaning to some sort of thing within a game. It's usually up to developers to see that through. And honestly, I like the a universal use of something, like some sort of foundation. Usually kind of ties things together and makes it a little bit easier for people who remember certain stuff. But, anyways, yeah. This really doesn't have a lot going to it at the moment, but I do plan on continually adding things and changing things, balancing things, because honestly, another thing that I have a pet peeve about is video game balancing. Whenever a group or a team of people really could care less about how a game functions, and that kind of matters a lot to me because I feel like how a game functions is directly correlated to a game's quality as well, which is why I look for good game mechanics in a game over graphics, because I think visuals are pretty good, but another thing is the little added detail to a game and the refinement and the polish that you put into a game to make it even better than it can be. And that usually is... I don't know, I just feel like that we're losing that nowadays, and I want to hit it home that a game doesn't necessarily have to have good graphics if it's a fun game. If it's fun, it gives you a reason to keep on playing it, and if it gives you entertainment, stuff like that. Something that keeps you coming back and not aggravating you to such a point. But I also, another thing is that if you overbalance something, then it kind of loses an identity of a game, and I really don't want that to happen. I think a game's identity should speak for itself. Like, you can have a couple of unbalanced items if they're fun in a certain way. If they're completely unbalanced, then yeah, you should probably tone it back. But if it's, you know, a little bit above average, but it encourages a fun, rewarding playstyle, then I do think that it should certainly stay in the game. Which is why some of these things, like, some weapons might be better than others, some of them could be, you know, weaker, but as long as they feel nice to use, they have some sort of force to them. Like, when you hit an enemy, you really feel the amount of damage being sent to them. That's one thing I kind of want to go for, is like the feeling of hitting an enemy and feeling rewarded for hitting that enemy. Like a nice sensory overload or whatever. But yeah. I'm kind of running out of time and running out of things to say because I feel like I covered a lot of this stuff because, you know, it's still an alpha. But if you guys really did enjoy this, I could probably, you know, work on this more, post more updates, because this is the first time that I'm actually revealing this. I have a lot of things kind of going on, but it would be... If you guys really do like this, then I will work on this, and I will preview it more. And eventually this will have, like, some sort of public test once I'm ready for this game to kind of go into stress testing situation whenever it needs to, like, feel nice. But, yeah. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you find my random ramblings alright or whatever, but... yeah, I'll see you guys around if you actually do stick around.